Hey guys, so this video is about getting into the hips, getting a little into the low back, because a lot of times when we are having low back pain, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's in your low back. It can be that your hips are tight, it can even be something about your feet, it can be your shoulders. So today we're going to begin to help release the hips, begin to release the low back, getting into this juicy flow. I can tell you that hip openers are my absolute favorite poses to do. I don't know why personally, but I love doing hip openers. There's like a really huge, weird relief that I feel when I do them. So hop into some comfy clothes, roll out your mat. You might need one block for this practice. You might need 2 blocks or books. And let's get it going. So coming down into our Sukhasana pose or our easy pose in yoga, so cross-legged position, and beginning to take that first big inhale into the practice. Exhale throughout the nose. As you begin to feel the energy within the body with each breath beginning to settle, feeling the sit bones rooting down into the mat. Creating space within the body with each exhale. And taking our awareness down into our hips. So obviously our knees might be a little bit higher than our hips in this pose. If you want to bring a block underneath you to sit on to release your knees down, you can do that. We're really beginning to just notice on each exhale as gravity takes over, feeling the knees releasing a little more, and a little more. On your next inhale, we're going to send the fingertips up above us. Exhale, we're going to begin to fold down, taking yourselves over the legs. You're going to come down as far as you can go. So whether the hands are planting down, whether we can come down to the forearms, or if you want to take your block, bringing it out in front of you, you can come down to the forearms, down to the hands. Beginning to relax over the legs. Little gentle hip release here. And with each exhale, really bringing the awareness into the hips, really imagining sending the breath down into the hips, feeling them open a little more. Finding that softness within the body. And on your next exhale, we're going to begin to roll up the spine as we come all the way back up. Begin to draw the knees in towards your chest. We're going to take the feet out about the width of our mat here. Keeping the knees in line with the hips. You can grab a hold of your block here, setting it out in front of you. You don't have to use the block. Beginning to reach the heart forward. Drawing the shoulders down the back. So take one more breath here. Then on your next exhale, we're going to see if we can come in between the legs, taking the hands down to the block as you fold down. Releasing yourself, beginning to release the low back. Throughout the practice, making sure we're being very gentle on ourselves. And your next exhale, gently beginning to roll back up. Slide your block over to the side if you used it. We're going to take our left leg extended out in front of you. Draw the toes back towards your face. Right knee's going to draw up in towards our chest. Then from here, we're going to grab a hold of our right leg, As we lift it, you're going to take it across the body, and then like you're holding a baby, you're going to cradle in, whether you're cradling it in with your arms or you're holding onto the leg with your hands. You want to make sure you can still find a tall spine. So begin to notice if you're slouching, if you're leaning forward, still ground the sit bones down. Heart is reaching forward, finding that tall spine. So if we're slouching, you just make sure that you lower the leg down, only bring it up as high as it can go. So begin to cradle the leg in here. And then maybe very gently you begin to rock from side to side. So be very mindful in the hip. Still finding that tall spine. And we can bring ourselves to stillness. Take one more inhale, draw up a little bit taller. Exhale, you're going to begin to release your right leg across the left leg. Keep those toes drawn back towards you. Your next inhale, send the left fingertips up above you. Exhale, we're going to swim right fingertips back behind us as we begin to twist to the right. Releasing the left arm on top of that left knee. Centralizing our twist from the navel. And your next exhale, send yourself back through center. Grab a hold of your right leg. Uncross it and send it out in front of you. If you want to take a moment to shake the legs out, shake them out a little bit. Then we're grabbing a hold of the left leg as we slide it in towards the chest. Right toes are reaching back towards the face. Find your tall spine. If we want to, you can move the fleshy out of the way to really find your sit bones. And we're grabbing a hold of our left leg as we begin to cradle it in with the hands, with the arms. Still making sure we find that tall spine. Activate the toes of your left foot to protect your knee. Continuing to find the breath. We're going to take 2 more breaths. Maybe beginning to rock from side to side. And bringing ourselves to stillness. On your next exhale, begin to release your left leg across the right. Inhale, send the right fingertips up above you. Exhale, left fingertips swimming back behind us as we begin to twist to the left. Give yourself a smile. And your next exhale, bring yourself all the way back through to center. Grab a hold of your left leg. Uncross it, extend it out, shake it out if you need to. And we're going to come back into that Sukhasana or easy pose, but this time we want to bring our opposite leg in front. So for me, the opposite, or what I call the awkward side, is bringing my left leg in the front. So finding whatever may not necessarily feel natural, or maybe you're ambidextrous and it might just feel natural to you. And then on your next exhale, we're going to begin to fold down over the legs once more. So coming down to the floor, coming down to the hands, coming down to the block. And then on your next exhale, very gently, once again, rolling up the spine. We're going to take our left foot, we're going to take it over towards the left side of the body, bring it as close to your left hip as you can. We're going to keep right foot planted on the left thigh, so right knee is coming out. We're just going to draw up tall here. exhale, just taking the hands slightly over towards the right. Maybe folding down a little bit here. We're not trying to go down that super far. Walking our hands through center. Then walk them back towards you. Left knee is going to draw up in towards our chest. We're going to switch the legs. So right foot's going to come as close to the right hip as we can get it. Left foot on top of the right thigh. And beginning to take our hands, we're going to walk them slightly over towards the left. Little stretch into the side body here too. And begin to walk the hands through center. Walk them back towards you. Grabbing a hold of the left leg. Draw it into your chest. Grab a hold of the right leg. Draw it in towards your chest. Reach the heart forward. You can wrap the hands around the legs, giving yourself a hug. Take a big inhale here on our exhale. Tuck the chin towards the chest. We're going to take one breath. And exhale, send the feet out to the side. We're going to come into a tabletop position. So taking our time to get there, there's no rushing. Really beginning to find our foundation. So beginning to really press into the hands, drawing the shoulders up. So noticing if we concave into the shoulders, really draw it up, find the awareness. Pressing into the space between the pointer finger and the thumb. And then taking a moment here, we're going to rock the hips from right to left. Keeping the head in line with the spine. And begin to bring yourselves to stillness. We're going to take our right foot, stepping it forward. And taking a moment here, see if you can walk your right foot just a tiny bit farther. Beginning to sink your hips forward. Sending the gaze in front of you. So if you have the blocks, you'll lift up onto the blocks. Or keeping the hands down on the mat or lifted up on the fingertips or the hands. Keeping the gaze forward. Getting to really work into our hip flexors here. And next inhale, we're going to draw right knee back above the ankle. Begin to heel toe your right foot over to the edge of the mat. So you want to make sure your toes are going to point out. Heel's going to come in. You still want to make sure your right knee is coming above the ankle. And then we're going to plant our left hand down to the mat, really pressing up through the hand. We're not crashing in the wrist. Right hand's going to come to the top of the right knee. You're going to begin to press your leg away from you as you lift the right foot coming on the knife edge. So really like you're trying to get away from your leg here. So you're really pressing away. And the next exhale, gently release it down. Walk the foot back to the edge of the mat, back to the center of the mat. You're going to plant the right hand, tucking your back toes. Lift that back leg. We're going to lift up into our runner's lunge. And then on your next exhale, step that right foot back. We're coming into downward facing dog. So taking a moment here, we can find what feels good on the body. You can stay in stillness. You can walk your dog. And bringing yourself to stillness, take one more breath. Soft bend in the knees, soft bend in the elbows. Then taking your gaze forward, we're going to take the left foot, stepping it forward or placing it forward. Release your right knee down. You're going to walk your left foot a little tiny bit farther away. It doesn't have to go that far. I'm beginning to sink the hips forward here, taking the gaze up. Exhale, we're bringing that left knee back above the ankle if it went past it. Begin to heel toe your left foot over to the edge of the mat. Toes point out, heels come in. Right hand's going to plant down to the mat or it can plant down to the block. Left hand comes on top of the left knee. Begin to press the leg away, lifting the left foot. exhale, release it down. Walk the left foot back to the center of the mat. Tuck your back toes, lifting that back leg. Step it back to your downward facing dog. And on your next inhale, we're going to send the right leg back behind us, three-legged dog. Exhale, we're going to send our right knee forward, and we want to bring right knee behind right wrist. You're going to send your left foot out, or right foot out towards the left. Then begin to release your left leg down, kind of extend it back a little bit farther. Releasing to the top of the toes. Then I want you to check back at that left leg, make sure it's going straight back behind you. Then beginning to extend the heart forward. So here, if we have it in our practice, so this is known as our pigeon pose. So if we have it in our practice, we're going to begin to walk the hands forward, whether we lower down to the forearms, we come all the way down to the floor, or we take our block, and if the hip is lifted really high off the mat, you're going to slide your block underneath your right hip, let the hip come down to the block, and then from here, maybe lowering down. Just begin to rest into your pigeon pose. At whatever level that we're at, allowing our bodies to be where they're at, it doesn't matter. Releasing the expectation that we should be at a certain point in our practice. Just allowing that right hip to begin to open. We're going to take 2 more breaths here. Next exhale, if we lower down, begin to walk the hands back towards you. Very gently, all of us are going to begin to slide our right foot back, coming into a tabletop position. We're going to once again begin to rock the hips from right to left here. And on your next exhale, begin to tuck the toes, send it back up to your downward facing dog. And beginning to notice maybe that right heel's reaching a little bit tinier, closer to the mat than the left heel is. Inhale, we're going to send the left leg back behind this three-legged dog. Exhale, we're going to take the left knee behind the left wrist and the left foot over towards the right. Extend that right leg out. And then we're either taking the block underneath the hip, letting the left hip rest on top. Maybe we don't have the block. And beginning to lower down as far as we can go. So begin to release that left hip. Body to relax, noticing those points of tension. On your next exhale, gently begin to walk yourself back up. Slide yourself back into your tabletop position. You can take the hips from left to right. Bringing ourselves back to that neutral tabletop. We're going to walk our knees about the width of our mat. We're going to bring the big toes to touch. Sink the hips back towards the heels. Walk the hands forward, beginning to release the forehead down to the mat. If the forehead doesn't make it, it doesn't matter. And once again, you can bring your block into play. Whether you want to rest your forehead down or you can slide it back in between the feet. Bringing the hips down. As we come to rest down into our wide-legged child's pose. Still finding our deep breath. Take 2 more breaths here. Sinking the hips back towards the heels. Your next exhale, we're gonna roll up the spine. Come up into your tabletop position. Walk the knees back underneath the hips. Now from here, take your feet out to the side, come back to seated. Beginning to extend the legs out in front of you. And just to kind of neutralize the spine, draw the toes back towards you, hands resting down at our side. We're gonna come into our staff pose, take 2 breaths. Really ground it down here. You want to feel as stiff as a stick or staff. Then on your next exhale, we're going to begin to roll it down onto our backs. Once we lower it all the way down, we're going to draw our left knee in towards our chest, coming into our wind reliever pose. It's a beautiful pose to do if you have any sciatica problems. Maybe taking a second here, draw some little circles with the ankles. Bringing the foot to stillness. We're going to draw the nose up towards that left knee. Inhale, lower the head and chest back down. Exhale, switch your legs. Right knee comes in towards the chest. Hug it in. Maybe draw some circles with the ankle. Bringing the foot to stillness, we're lifting the nose up towards the knee. Exhale, releasing everything back down. We're going to release our right foot down to the mat. Slide your left foot in to meet the right. We're going to bring soles of our feet together, beginning to allow the knees to fall open. So we're allowing gravity to take over as we come into our Supta Baddha Konasana, or coming into our reclined bound angle or reclined butterfly. As we just continue to find the breath. Beginning to relax the muscles of the face. Let's begin to slowly settle the body in towards the mat. On your next exhale, take both hands to the legs, gently press them back together. On your next inhale, pressing into our feet, we're going to take our hips over towards the right. Exhale, begin to release the knees to your left. And if we want to extend our twist, we take the gaze over the right shoulder, bringing the arms to a T, to a goalpost. Making sure that our shoulders are still planted down onto the mat. So if they're not planted, you're just gently releasing out of the twist a little bit. Inhale, we're going to bring everything back through to center. Exhale, shift your hips over towards the left. Begin to release the knees over to the right. And we can take the gaze over the left shoulder if it's comfortable in the neck. Inhale, bring everything back through to center. On your next exhale, slide the legs down the mat. Take the hands down towards the hips, palms facing up to receive all that good energy you just put out into the room. We're going to take one more big inhale in. Exhale out with a sigh as you release the practice. Release the body and allow it to be supported by your mat. Softening the gaze or closing the eyes. So we just allow ourselves to release and let go. Giving ourselves this time in our Shavasana to allow the body to reset, absorb all the good things we just did for it. And as you stay here for 5 minutes, for 3 minutes, for longer than that, just allowing yourself to be. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.